Yo, what is going on, guys? Socks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. I posted a video yesterday talking about the full update / the full breakdown for Monday, but I did leave a few things out. Now, when these funds start to cover on AMC, I think it's going to happen very, very fast so that they can avoid bankruptcy, or at least certain funds can avoid bankruptcy, the more corrupt funds such as Citadel. So I think it's going to happen in a blink of an eye, and I realize that. So just in case things happen next week, now damn straight we're all diamond handing, but just in case things happen, I wanted to bring some things to your attention because that sell button will have to be available at some point. I know we haven't touched it yet, but I think it's going to happen very, very fast, and there's going to be issues with brokers. There's going to be news pushing certain narratives, and essentially you guys just have to be ready to hit that sell button at a certain point. Alright, so I want to touch on the chart with a few things that I left out for you guys. I also want to touch on some numbers and a couple articles. All I ask in return is for you to hit the like button because it does take a few hours to research, edit, and post these videos. And I also ask you to just hit the like button as we are flying through 7K subs and help us add on to that speed. Okay, so right now I have the AMC chart pulled up for you guys, and I have the Bollinger Bands laid out, and I also have the Relative Strength Index down here. Now, with the Relative Strength Index, you will notice that every time right where we are at now, before the run-ups, the RSI was actually higher than where it is now, which does show we have some room to run. And if this actually does squeeze, because again, this wasn't a squeeze back here, this wasn't a squeeze back here, then this TA won't matter, the RSI won't necessarily matter, but at some point it will have to cool off, so just keep that in mind. Also, right now I want you to take a look at the Bollinger Bands contracting right here, how they pushed out and they actually got out of the Bollinger Bands real quick and got rejected, and right now we saw a hammer candle, which is something very good to see because what this does is it compresses the volume and almost acts as a spring, so that could definitely also have something to do with us seeing a run up this week. But pointing that out, I wanted to come back to both times we ran, the first time up to 20 and then the second time up to 70. You can see that the same thing happened with the Bollinger Bands. They contracted, it came out for a bit, got slapped back down before actually getting that initial rip and leaving the Bollinger Bands, and you saw the same thing happen back here in a smaller perspective, right? It came out right here, got smacked in, and then blew up out of the Bollinger Bands right here. So we are seeing that same exact setup. Taking away from the drawings for a second, just looking at some indicators, everything is lining up very, very similar, which leads me to something, and that is the cost to borrow fee. Now, whether this is correlated with the FTX collapse and the tokenized securities, which I personally think it is, but I don't have necessarily full-on evidence to expose that or show you guys. AMC's cost to borrow fee was averaging at about 100% this week at a certain point this week, and now is down to 44.3%. That being said, come Monday, I want to see in the first couple hours of market open if cost to borrow rises or it decreases. If it's 20% or less, or it's like 25% or less, then in my opinion short sellers probably have found another loophole, and you may or may not see the run to the degree that you want to see the run next week. However, if the cost of borrow fee stays the same and or rises within the first couple hours, then this tells me that the run is most likely still on. I'm looking at this as like the main indicator right now, because in my opinion, if it starts to drop, then they found another way. They can locate shares, the broker can locate shares, and they can further suppress the price. So that is my overall outlook. I want to watch the cost to borrow on AMC and GameStop. Now, before we get back into the chart, I wanted to touch on this real quick. And this says money is leaving hedge funds at alarming rates. Investors pulled an estimated $26 billion from hedge funds during the third quarter, according to data provider HFR, jarred by a global stock market plunge, soaring bond yields, and geopolitical tensions. The data source claims that a $12.4 billion loss in assets from hedge funds that make wagers on the equities markets was the main cause of the outflows. Even when a hedge fund strategy was performing well, money still flowed out of it, and the outflows continued to reach new highs. Hedge funds are seeing massive drawdowns, and even though funds which are performing better than others are still plunging. The largest hedge fund saw the greatest performance reductions in the sum of the funds other investments have given them to handle is known as assets under management, according to HFR. If the market continues to struggle, hedge funds could see margin calls and more outflows from investors, which could in fact cause even more damage to the markets moving forward. Now keep in mind with what that left off with. I'm going to pull up these images. I talked about it in yesterday's video. The VIX and the S&P 500 overlaid now over the 2008 crash. If this plays out to a T, then next week the markets could come crumbling down, which will cause hedge funds, like that article just said, to get margin called and see more blood going forward, which could lead the market seeing more blood forward. But not only that, triggering that domino effect where one fund covers, then it forces another fund to cover, then it forces another fund to cover, and it forces another fund to cover on AMC. Now, if I remove the Bollinger Bands and bring my drawings in, also real quick, if you want up to 15 free stocks and a chance to win $60,000 before Christmas time, hit the link down below, download Boo Boo on your phone or your computer, sign up, it takes 2 minutes, and deposit at least $1 to reap these benefits. That link will be pinned in the top of comments and linked in the description down below. This is exactly something that I am expecting. Now, this is literally just the bars pattern copy and pasted from the run up to $70, so don't take it as key as this is going to happen. However, it does line up with the levels that I have drawn out, and these are give or take the dollar range. I was expecting a retracement at least back down to like $6.75 or $7, but we didn't technically get all the way down to that, but we don't have to. I saw that we left the Bollinger Bands and then got slapped back into the Bollinger Bands, but I'm looking around that $10.80 level for the next spot to hit, and then that $14 to $16.60 range, that $2.50 range, and then all the way up breaking 20s. I think breaking 20s is going to cause a lot of FOMO to kick in and people to realize, yo, AMC's back over 20. This shit's about to get rocking. This shit's about to get kicking like it was back in 2021, but at a much higher degree. Now, this leads me to say another thing, and it's the on-balance volume indicator. I just wanted to touch on this and state that most holders are still around $36, $37 on the stock, so that is the legitimate stock price, meaning when a fund starts to cover, they're going to bid until they actually find shares, right? If I need a potato, there's only 100 supply of potatoes, and all these 100 people won't sell me one for 10, 20, 30, 40, $50, then I'm going to keep bidding up until I get that potato because I need that potato, right? That's the exact same thing that you're going to see. So when people tell you, oh, hedge funds can just cover down at $5 now, why haven't they covered? Well, that's why, because they can't get out at $5. They know every shareholder is holding. With that being said, yes, there are a lot of shareholders holding, but there's not enough shareholders buying like there was back in June. You guys can tell from the volume difference back here. What I want you to do after this video is hop over on Twitter and just tweet hashtag AMC squeeze next week, and then that's it. I just want to get something trending. I want people who aren't in AMC and GameStop to be like, yo, this AMC and GameStop thing is happening again. They're going to tell their friend, they're going to tell their family member, and we are going to get that FOMO kicking and rocking again, and then hopefully get the gamma ramp going coming into next week. With that being said, it says that the days to cover are 3 days, but that is off a average daily volume, and again, once that volume increases, it can happen very fast, like I was telling you guys before, so don't pay attention to that too much. As for should you pay attention to the data, should you pay attention to technical analysis, how to get out of AMC, I have a personal exit strategy video that you can watch, but I want to give you the basic tips, and the basic tips are that we have a T+2 report date for short interest. So if the short interest drops to 0 and the stock starts dropping and you're saying, yo, I'm holding because short interest says this, you're wrong, right? Don't focus on mainly the short interest because you're not going to get a T+0 short interest reported to you. It's just not going to happen. So be very careful with watching data. Most squeezes are going to have something that looks like this, making higher highs and higher lows. And what I mean by that is if you take a look at this, this has a trend line. It keeps bouncing off of it. When it necessarily technically breaks this and then comes up and gets rejected, this is probably a point where I would see, you know, this is a time to get out, right? Or this is a time to get out. And that brings me to another thing, is that I wouldn't get out completely, right? What I'm essentially doing is, first of all, I would highly suggest you go watch the exit strategy video. I will leave it at the end of the video so that you can just press on it. But I'm selling off bits and pieces and portions of my stock at certain points. I have AMC stock in a few different brokers, and I'm going to be selling off pieces by pieces, starting with initial investment, then 10%, 20, 30%, letting the rest ride, etc., etc. I have all of that in my exit strategy video, but I kind of just wanted to give you guys the go ahead to get rocking, right? Get fueling for the weekend, get happy, get excited. Even if we don't see this squeeze, we're one step forward to ruining these hedge funds that are essentially just corrupt fucking bastards. And I just wanted to show you guys this and let you guys know what I think is coming. give you some of the levels that I'm looking at. And as for GameStop, it's looking good as well. I would watch this parallel channel at around $38 to $40. A clean break over 40, I think GameStop is going to get rocking as well. Now, I had this tab pulled up. I wasn't even going to throw it in the video, but I might as well just throw it to you guys so that it's not left out. Global debt is over 300 trillion. The US national debt is over 31 trillion. And this just brings me to another piece that Citadel has over like 80 somewhat billion in one firm that they haven't paid. That's like taking out hundreds of loans until it equals 81 billion and then not paying it. And now with them not paying it, the market doing bad, and AMC potentially about to squeeze with their FTX token sham bullshit being pulled away, it's just not looking good for certain funds and institutions in general. But just take that into account and look at it from a different perspective. Overall, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I wanted to touch on this on the weekend so that we can lay back and not watch the charts for a minute. You know, not taking a look at the 1 minute charts and the 1 minute time frame and the 1 minute candles, but essentially just get that feeling again on AMC. I'm going to link the exit strategy video at the end of this video. It's an older video, so I'll probably be a little bit more cringe, a little bit more monotone, and probably honestly just boring. But there is good information in those videos, so trust me, if you want to just put it on audio or whatever you want to do, that is what I got. So guys, on your way out, please hit the like, hit that subscribe button, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and let's get ready for next week. Make sure to have post notifications on because I will be coming out as fast as I can with the AMC news and updates for everybody holding AMC. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.